Okay, let's begin. The cash price of a new computer is $1,299. Alan buys this computer on hire purchase. So hire purchase over here means that he does not pay the full sum at the start. He pays a deposit or down payment, and the rest of the money that is not paid, he owes it to the company. So when he owes something to a company, he needs to pay interest. He'll be paying in installments, including the interest. Okay? So here, they tell us that he's paid a deposit of 1/3 of the cash price. So 1/3 of 1,299, we can calculate that easily for the deposit, followed by 24 monthly payments of $40.30. So what this means is that he takes 2 years to clear the payment for the computer. And we expect the total amount that he pays to be greater than 1,299 because there is interest. So let us find out how much he's paying for the computer under this plan. So total amount is 1/3 of the cash price plus 24 monthly installments of $40.30. So the total amount that he is paying is $1,420. So because we are dealing with money over here, we will leave our final answer to 2 decimal places because we can go down to the nearest cent. Okay? So as expected, this is greater than 1,299. So if you have 1,299 in the first place, it makes sense for you to pay it upfront instead of paying extra in interest. In part 2, find the extra cost of buying the computer on hire purchase as a percentage of the cash price. Extra cost as a percentage of cash price. So first we need to find out the extra cost. Extra cost is 1400.20 subtract 1299. So we get $101.20. We need to find out what this is as a percentage of the cash price. So the cash price did not change, it is still 1,299. So the percentage, extra cost as a percentage, okay, so we write it this way, extra cost as percentage is 101.20 divided by original, multiplied by 100%. So after calculation, that will give us a value rounded off to 7.79% to 3SF. Next, part B. For part B, Betty buys the same computer, but she borrows the whole cost of 1,299 for 3 years at a compound interest of 6% per year. So we need to use our compound interest formula. If you did not memorize that, although you should, you can refer to our formula list. The very first, under compound interest, it says total amount. This is not the interest. This is principal plus interest. Okay, principal plus interest. So what we have here is the principal value. Constants over here, R. R is the interest rate per period. Interest rate per period. How often they compound it will affect this value of R. N over here refers to the number of periods. So in this case, part B, it is a compound interest of 6% per year. So they compound it once a year. That makes things a lot easier for us when we apply the compound interest formula, because we do not need to take extra steps to change the value of R as well as N. So for part B, they want us to find out the total amount, the interest. But before that, we need to make use of the formula to find total amount. So we write total amount, the principal 1299 multiply by 1 plus interest rate 6%. 6 over 100. The number of periods that it is compounded, 3 years, compounded once per year, so power 3. This is the total amount. It includes principal and interest. Okay, so let's work this out. 1.06 power 3 times 1299. So we can see that this value is even higher than the previous value that Alan paid. So round this off to 2 dp. Now to find the interest. So here we have the interest that is paid. And finally, for part C, it's a different question altogether. Carol bought a digital camera. She paid $759 from a trader, somebody who sells it. Of course, when the person sold it, he should have made a profit. This trader, the person who sold it, made a profit of 15% of the price. 15% of the price he paid for it. So this price that he paid for it, this particular price will be represented by our 100% and calculate how much he paid for it. So this is a question asking us to find what is the 100% that the trader paid for it. So since this 759 includes a 15% profit of, okay, $759 includes a 15% profit, this $759 is represented by 115%. Okay, so one of the presentation that you can use is 115% represents $759. So 100% represents 759 over 115 times 100. You can drop both percentage symbols over here, or you can choose to leave both of them on. Either way, they will cancel. So calculate it. So the trader paid $660 for the camera. Okay, common mistake will be assuming that $759 is represented by our 100%. So this is the mistake. Yes? What? Yes. The common mistake is that 100% represents 759 and thinking that the price he paid for it is represented by 85%. So this will give you a different value. Okay, these are different values. Although the difference in both of them is still 15%, but we always need to find out which is the original 100% that they are referring to. Next, question 8a. Cross section of a tunnel is major segment of a circle. Okay, so this entire portion is a segment. The other common word that is used is a sector, but a sector and a segment are different. So right now I'm tracing out a sector. Okay, need to know the difference. Right, so the total perimeter of the major sector, POQR. So P to O to Q to R This has a perimeter of 44 meters. Find the reflex angle POQ. Reflex greater than 180 degrees. Okay, in this case, we will be using radians. So reflex angle will be greater than pi radian. Now, we have to make use of the perimeter to find this particular angle. And the formula that should come to mind is S equals to R theta, where S is our arc length. R will be the radius, theta is the angle in radian. So this is our unknown, which means I need to substitute in the value of R, radius. Quite clearly it is 8, and I also require the arc length, this portion over here, which is not difficult since they gave us the perimeter already. 44 minus 8 minus 8, we have the arc length. So let's do the substitution for part 1. 44 minus 8 minus 8, that is our arc length, equals to 8 times of theta, which is the required angle. Theta is therefore 28 over 8 in radians. Simplify it to become, this is question 8, 3.5 radians. Part 1 is done. So part 2, find the area of the triangle POQ. Area of triangle. Half AB sine C. Okay, but in this case, our A value is 8. Our B value is also 8. Then write down the sign. And now we require the angle C. Identify the angle. This is the angle we require. Since we already know that theta on this side is 3.5 radian, the angle C for the triangle is 1 complete revolution. 1 complete cycle gives us 2 pi. 2 pi minus 3.5 will be the angle in the triangle. 2 pi minus 3.5. We are working with radians over here. Make sure your calculator is in the radian mode. So after our calculation, we get a value rounded off to 11.2 square meters. Finally, the cross-sectional area of the tunnel is made up of 2 parts. First, we have the area of the triangle, which we already found, and we also require the area of the sector. Area of sector is given by half r square theta. R in this case is 8. Half r square theta, found out that it was 3.5. So this is 112 square meters. Total area will be 112 plus our value over here. Before you round it off, get another value, and finally you round it off to become 123 square meters. Next, 8B. Stop me if you have any questions or if you need any clarifications. Okay, so we have a diagram over here made up of a pyramid, a square pyramid and a cuboid. Find the volume. I don't think you will have a problem. Basically, we need to use the formula of the volume of pyramid. 1/3 base area. Base area will be 10 times 10 times the perpendicular height of 12. This is the volume of just the pyramid. You need to add this to the volume of the cuboid below it. Find the surface area. I'm sure you also can do that, but in order to do so, we need the area of one of these triangles, then we have to multiply it by 4. The area of a triangle is half times the base, AB, which is 10, times the perpendicular height. The perpendicular height is shown here. Let's call this point M, from V to M. So in order to find VM, which is not given to us, we need to construct a right angle triangle by ourselves. So the triangle will look like this. M, right angle, N, and this is V. This is the height that we require. Other information that we have is that Vn is 12 centimeters. M to N, that is another unknown. However, because this is a square base, with a square base for the pyramid also, N is exactly in the middle of the square, meaning Mn is half of BC. So half of 10 is just 5. So Vm is our square root of 12 square plus 5 square, which gives us 13. So this is the area of one of the triangles. Half times base times the perpendicular height. Multiply it by 4 and you get the surface areas for the 4 triangles. Add that to the remaining 4 rectangles plus the square base. And you get the final answer. The final question I'm going through is question 9. Your graph question. On part C, part 1. Sorry, C part 2. What does the gradient represent? Whenever you are asked what does the gradient represent, what does the slope represent, we can fall back on some key phrases. Okay? The structure will look like this. It represents the rate of change of blank with respect to, please spell it out, with respect to our horizontal axis. Okay, so let's see what is in our vertical axis. Vertical m-axis, that is the mass, rate of change of mass with respect to, in this case, the age of the baby. So in our first blank, we will have our vertical axis. In the second blank, it will be our horizontal axis. So all of you take A maths, you should be familiar with this way of writing it. Rate of change of something with respect to something else. And that is exactly what the gradient tells us. Now sometimes depending on the context of the question, you may have to adjust your phrasing a little so that it makes sense. Okay? So another case will be if you are given a distance time graph, they ask you what does the gradient represent? You can say it represents the rate of change of distance with respect to time. Alternatively, you can say it represents speed. Okay? So you have to understand what your graph is about. Then in part D, Elizabeth wishes to estimate the mass of the baby when the baby is 1 year old. She proposed to extend the graph line up to t equals to 365. So you continue extending the graph. Okay, so originally our graph looks like this. So she says that we should just continue extending. Explain why it is not possible to estimate the mass of the baby in this way. Without thinking about mathematics, just logic only. Is it reasonable for us to just extend the graph? Does the growth of a person really depend on the graph?
Not constant.
It can't be. Okay, when you say constant, it sounds like you're talking about a straight line.
It's like if the person wants to continue the graph, right? That means she's assuming that this person will grow at a certain rate.
According to a certain formula. He's assuming that the person grows according to a certain formula, according to a certain equation,
Yeah, which is not true.
which cannot be true. It depends on how much the baby drinks.
But they don't eat at all, it's like,
Yeah, exactly. If we even take it further, why stop at 365 days? How about we use this graph to extend until he's 70 years old?
their whole life.
Cannot be the case. Okay, so now our job is to use this logic and put it in words. As long as you give us something that is reasonable, it will be accepted. You'll be given a mark. So here, the explanation given in the word solution is that it is not reliable, as the relationship between M and T may be very different, since 365 is much larger than 70. Okay, so this is one of the acceptable reasons. If you have something that you think, if you're unsure whether it is accepted or not, please show it to me and I will discuss it with you. Okay? So these are the questions that were flagged out.